There's been some leaked on-set photos from season 2 of House of the Dragon that suggest that White Boy Winter is back, baby. Might be some undead and maybe even a spotting of the White Walkers for House of the Dragon. Gator, when you first heard this, what'd you think?
I mean, like I said, I was kind of a fan of White Walkers back in Game of Thrones, unlike you, but it's still the weakest part of the show. And I'm not even
Yeah.
talking about the ending, how it all climaxed, because obviously, everybody thinks that sucks. But even going back to it, I was never super enthused about the White Walkers compared to the political intrigue happening down at King's Landing or whatever kingdoms we were talking about. Like, if I could see Stannis chilling out on that balcony, I'd take that over seeing some White Walker development 100% of the time. So now we're talking about House of the Dragon, which, dude, in my opinion, the political intrigue in season 1 was so fucking good, dude. It was so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is a good move for them. I don't wanna waste what little screen time we have because House of the Dragon moves kind of a million miles a minute compared to Game of Thrones. So, given that, I don't really wanna waste time up at the wall. I don't think I shouldn't say that. The wall is okay. I just don't wanna waste time with the supernatural stuff until we really have all of the non-supernatural political stuff ironed out, you know?
Right. And it depends how they pace it out because in Game of Thrones early on is very well paced. A lot of political intrigue with just the flavor of the mysticism or, fantasy elements of either the dragons or the zombies, the whites beyond the wall. And here we already have dragons, so we don't really need that extra magic flavor in here like you did in kind of Game of Thrones and King's Landing. But yeah, this I think the weakest part for House of Dragons is whenever we got King Viserys, they try to shoehorn in the prophecy of was it the song of or it wasn't the
Yeah,
Song of Ice and
correct.
Fire, but it
Well,
was
that's
just
what they
like
called it, but yeah.
did they call it the Song of Ice and Fire?
They
But
they
they it
literally
was
called it the Song of Ice and Fire, yeah.
From my blood come the prince that was promised, and his will be the song of ice and fire.
because there is a this is not spoiling anything for House of the Dragon, but there's a pact known as the Pact of Ice and Fire, I think. And in the books, Fire and Blood, they do go north, but it's not a huge part about it. And they could expand it and make it a whole big kind of arc or half the season, with Jace being up there. We also saw pictures on set of the Night's Watch, so that's why we're kind of leaning towards we might see the wall, also an on-set picture of the wall. So I always felt like that was the weakest part about it, that House of the Dragon was trying to connect itself to Game of Thrones. I don't need that. I really don't. I really just care about the political intrigue down in King's Landing, everything below the neck, nothing really north of whatever you want to say, the twins. I really don't care about that because everything I'm invested in is down south.
I wouldn't mind seeing some political stuff involving, like, Winterfell and even the Wall. Like, it's okay if we see some kind of character that's relevant up there to what's happening. But, when we go into Game of Thrones, which is a couple hundred years after House of the Dragon, they talk about the White Walkers and the Whites as if they're this completely unseen thing for thousands of years to where people don't even believe they exist anymore. Like, half the
Right.
people at the Wall probably don't even think that that is what exists. The main threat is the wildlings, right? And Mance Rayder's army, which is
Sure.
totally understandable. So if we went more in that direction, it'd be okay. But yeah, we have this picture, this like behind the scenes photo that was leaked of it's a poster board with many pictures and it's labeled Undead. And it definitely looks like there's some faces like with prototype prosthetics or whatever you want to
Yeah,
say.
they look very gaunt.
It
Yeah.
looks gaunt, it looks sunken in. It definitely looks like they might be going for a zombie sort of thing. And yeah, see, that's just something I would rather not waste time with. It seems like in Game of Thrones hadn't been seen in so long. So that tells me if they're trying to stay true to that continuity, even if we do see some kind of a plot point with that in House of the Dragon, the people can't survive and they can't relay the message to anybody, not even anybody at the Night's Watch. That because
Yeah.
in Game of Thrones, there was no one at the Night's Watch who passed on any message like, "Oh yeah, dude, sure, like this thing has been widely known to be extinct for a few thousand years, but we actually had a few guys that reported back seeing some of this stuff like less than 300 years ago. Yeah, that didn't happen. So
Right.
I don't think that we should see it at all. Don't even waste time. Don't even waste time. It blows my mind they would even think it's a good idea as some sort
Yeah.
of like a
I
nostalgia
know.
cash grab, considering how poorly it turned out. Like they can't retroactively make it cool when it ended so horribly. And like you said, they already shoehorned in the prophecy thing that's clearly referencing the White Walkers. So I think that's enough. Just leave it at that and give me more Damon and Aemond. That's all I need.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on the same page with you. Just give me more of the actual Dance of Dragons instead of this stuff because what am I going to get from it? Oh, the White Walkers are coming. You're just going to remind me this building, tension or fear that's beyond the wall you should remind me of the end of Game of Thrones again. I'm like, stop, just stop. Let me just enjoy what you're giving me here instead of reminding me of the future, which sucked. And it's not House of Dragon's fault why season 8 of Game of Thrones sucks so bad,
No,
but
no.
they have to understand the context in which they're making the show. And they should just try to remove themselves from it. But if it's just a glorified Easter egg, it's like, okay, cool, but I hope it's nothing more than that. Like some guy goes beyond the wall and then just sees these guys, and then that guy's never seen again. Right. It's almost like
I mean,
season 1 or season 2 of Game of Thrones where you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Really doesn't matter. But then again, it just feels so shoehorned in, right? It's just like, well, then why
yeah, what's
even
the
doing
point?
this? Because
Yeah, what's the point?
they're only giving us 8 episodes this season. I want this season to be tight and very action packed, very heavy,
Oh,
very dense. But this is just like extra.
I agree. And see, this is the thing too, though. If they wanted to, I guess fire and blood is kind of it's a like little dichotomous term. What they could do is like a fire and ice sort of like sister series if they really wanted to. So we could have House of the Dragon airing currently, and they could start another spin-off that deals exclusively with the stuff at the Wall and Beyond. Or I guess maybe Winterfell and Beyond is a better point because then at least we get a little bit more familiarity there. And I can't really imagine really what they would do beyond the Wall to that extent. So that would be kind of cool. And then you could delve into that stuff a lot more because if it's totally beyond the wall, I mean, you could have a ton of interactions with White Walkers and wildlings, like, completely. That's on the table. These guys that are 100% sure this stuff exists because they get attacked by them and stuff. So I don't think that would be a bad idea. But trying to put it all into one series, especially with only 8 episodes, it's strange. I'm not saying there's no place for White Walkers in this franchise anymore. It's just in this specific show. It's like, come on, man, it's a waste of time.
The only justification I would have for why this should be in here or why I would ever find it would be okay. What I do want, and if this is going to tie into this, then I'm totally on board. Craster's Keep origin. Somehow find out
Oh.
that there maybe is like a title, kind of like the Sorcerer Supreme. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, you will stay here and have incest babies and feed
You
us. And you're
will
like,
fuck
oh,
your daughters until the end
give
of
us
time.
your sons.
Right, dude, give me
I
that.
mean,
That'd be sweet. Especially, what if he's badass? Like the original Craster or whatever fought these White Walkers. Because why would the White Walkers make a deal with him if they didn't have to? Like they could just keep taking. The Wildlings are a much more unlimited source of human beings. Like they're reproducing on
right.
their own. But if Craster like single-handedly fought back the White Walker army, and he's
Oh,
such a
yeah.
Giga Chad, and he just happens to be sexually attracted to his own family. That's just a happy
Oh,
coincidence
no.
for the White Walkers. Yeah, oh no. And the White Walkers just say, listen, man, you just keep doing what you're doing and give us the babies because you don't like being a responsible father. Like we can all win here. That'd be
Yeah.
great, dude. I want to see Giga Chad Craster the first.
Keep your money. I want your baby. Dude, that's the only way I'm on board with these extra whites or these extra White Walkers or whatever they're going to have beyond the wall here.
I'm anti-white.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this and smash that like button.
Or not. We don't care.